started.
A, B, C, Z. Okay, well, let's try a French defense. How about? That's a funny one. I guess we could transpose to an advanced variation of the French defense. That's what we got. Okay, so I'll just play the normal moves here and see how he reacts. Bishop D3 is the usual way of playing it, setting a little trap to see if you want to take the pawn. Of course, you don't have to take. But if I play like this, I really am starting to develop some pressure against that D pawn. Let's see how he reacts. So I've got 3 attackers and he has 2 defenders. He can defend with the bishop. Bishop to E3. Okay, yeah, there he plays it. So what now? Yeah, there's no easy way to increase the pressure. And taking the bishop opens up the f-file and gives him a strong center. I don't know if that really helps so much. Let's see, bishop e7 is a possibility. And I just have to make sure there's somewhere for the knight to go after if he plays G. If he plays G4, that's always annoying. The knight has to find a square, and the bishop on E7 takes that square away from the knight. I guess if he plays G4, then I will take the bishop. So I'll go ahead and play bishop E7. I want to get in F6 if I can. And okay, he's not going after my bishop. He's just pushing the pawn forward. What does this do? Yeah, I'm not sure what that does, actually. Okay, so I get an F6. That's the move you want to play in the French defense. And now I have a square for my knight to retreat to if he plays something wacky like G4. And let's see, I can castle here. Let's think. Do I want to take myself or let him take? Probably let him take is better. My rook will come up and defend this pawn, be an extra defender for the pawn. His knight can come to G5. Oh, but he wants to go there. So if I take that knight, it'll give me a passed pawn. And I think that's a good idea, that having that passed pawn in the center. I'll just drop my rook back. If I put it on a light square, maybe he harasses it with the bishop. So let's just drop it all the way back. And now my next job is to get my bishop into the game. And the bishop can come out here to B5, hitting his rook. I'll play rook there, and then yeah, I'll have some pressure on F2 potentially after the rook moves. So right now, if I could move the knight with tempo, then I could take on F2 because the rook and the queen coordinate on F2 there. So where's a good move for the knight? See, I don't want to go knight to E3 hitting the queen, but that just gets in the way of things. Does not work. I could go over here to H4. He can't move the pawn. How can he defend it? He can defend it with the rook. There or there. Not so easy. Or the queen. Actually, yeah, so I guess knight to H4 is good enough. He's going to take the That's what's going to happen. He's going to take that pawn with check. Now the queen's defending it. Okay, knight h4. See what he does about this. He can drop his bishop back to f3, I guess. That would block the rook. And then I could trade off that bishop. Oh, or with the knight. Yeah, the knight blocks things too. So, knight takes, bishop takes. And then double. Or is rook takes something to think about? Rook takes, bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes, and bring the rook over. That probably is no good. The queen still can go to g3 and defend. So let's start with the knight.
Check.
And then we can double. Double rooks against against f2 there. Now, can I take on f3? Is that a good sacrifice? Pawn takes. It leaves this pawn weak. Yeah, I guess that's not a great sacrifice. Okay. Drop back this way. And let's see, if the queen comes out to c5, he can hit it with the rook, or d4 or e3. So I'll drop back this way. Of course, now we're threatening the e pawn. So the queen comes up to defend. And now, is there a way to chase the queen off of that square? Yeah, the rook up. Rook up here chases the queen off of that square. There was also rook takes bishop. Maybe I should have considered rook takes bishop, pawn takes, rook takes would give me a pawn for the exchange, and I'd have the rook in a good spot. I can do that now. Rook takes, pawn takes, rook takes, king comes up, queen comes over. It's a little slow. So maybe I can just win that pawn. See if that's a possibility. Goes there with the queen. But that doesn't help. I can play pawn to d4 hitting the queen, right? If he plays bishop takes bishop, I can take back, and then f2 is hanging. Okay, so let's take the pawn. Also defending defending e6 there. So now he goes there. Okay, that gives him a pawn back. But I have this big central pawn, so I think that is okay. So just taking the bishop. And then yeah, he is threatening to bring the queen to the back rank. Here, here, or here. So queen here check. I have to bring the rook back. Queen here check. He can win that pawn. Queen here to attack his f2 pawn.
Server
and bring his rook over to defend. I still kind of like just pushing this pawn. I think I'm faster if he goes after the a pawn. So he brings his rook out. Yeah, that makes sense. But now I can come in here, attacking his rook, attacking the f2 pawn. Yeah, so he has to run. And then I can bring this one step closer. He still has checks. Still has checks here and here. Ah, so he's not going for the checks, but he is trying to stop me from queening that pawn. So how do I do this? If I take here and he takes with the rook, I have a check. And then I queen the pawn. Doesn't work, right? Rook takes, queen here, check. He just brings the rook back. If I create another queen, he takes my queen. I can take his queen, but how does that work? Let's calculate this. Rook takes. He can't take with the king. If he moves the king away, I'll take there. So that would be good for me. So rook takes, rook takes. I'm down a rook at that point. Then I queen with check. If he takes, then I take back. If he interposes with the rook, then I take the rook. If the king runs away, then I take the rook. So I think this works now.
Check.
He does throw in that check. Okay, I have to. Oh, that was a clever interposition because
check.
Now he can. He's not doing it. He could have taken my rook with check, which would have bought him a tempo. Okay, yeah, I should have thought of that. I couldn't interpose my rook anymore because his rook was on that file, and if I interpose the rook, I get mated. So I should have allowed for that in my calculation. So going here, is he going to run out of checks at this point? Here, 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 here. I don't see any more checks. And his rook is hanging. And if he takes my rook, I get a queen with check. And then I get his rook. So I think that's winning. And let's see, he's only used 1 minute of his clock. Yeah. So let's queen with check.
Check.
And let's see, I don't want to let go of this. Don't want to let go of this pawn here. So let's do this check.
Check.
I mean, instead of just taking the rook and giving him some checks, that would be unnecessary counterplay, I think. So how's the way to finish this? I'm looking at the h1 square with my two queens, so coordinating on h1 there. That's the idea. His only check is with the rook, but that might, actually it might be a little bit annoying. Rook there, and I take it. He just goes there. Okay. So queen this way. Create a battery of queens. And, well, he keeps finding ways out. I keep thinking I've got him, and he finds ways out, but I don't see a way out of this one. Yeah, that's kind of a way out. Let's see, I have a check here. And then where the king has no moves after that check, so he has to interpose with the rook.
Check. White resigns.
Okay, got one. Okay, I'll upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.